How do? Welcome back to the channel. This week's video, we're going to have a look at my visit to Newsham Park Hospital in Liverpool. That's this place here. I put a print relevant to the place this week, and I'm just going to tell you a little bit about my visit there and show you plenty of photographs from the place. A little update on what's been happening lately. I've just got my website published, abandonedyorkshire.com, so I'll go along and have a look at that. There's the option to sort of purchase prints and stuff on there, and there's a gallery of the best pictures from the locations that I've been talking about on the video. So go along, have a look, see what you think. And also, I've been contacted by the BBC and done an interview over the phone for an online article that they're going to be publishing. Now, I've been contacted by the BBC before. I've done one radio interview, but over the 12 years I've been contacted plenty of times. I've always turned the videos down because I didn't like the supposed angle that they may go in at. Well, you're a trespasser, you're breaking into these places, blah, 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 which I don't. But with a bit of back and forth, this article was about some recent events in which some explorers had got into some tunnels under Pinderfields Hospital, and the journalist just wanted my side of why I do this urban exploring. Now, I don't like to call it urban exploring because it's not really what I do. It used to be, but now it's just the subject of my art. I could go photograph landscapes, I could photograph insects or animals or anything, but I choose abandoned buildings as a subject of my art because I think they're very interesting. Not many people get to see them, and I think that, you know, I can take really good photographs of them. So that's the point of view that I put across. That was just a subject for me, and told them my side of the story and what I think to it, etc, etc. So that should be up next weekend. If you follow the Facebook page, I'll drop a link in the Facebook page, Abandoned Yorkshire, and yeah, we get to see, hopefully they put the point across properly. Other things I've actually explored. I say I'm not an urban explorer. I actually photographed an abandoned building recently, so an opportunity came up to get into a very old Tudor house in Yorkshire. Not a house, it used to be a university, and also it's 400 years old, I believe this place is, so very, very old. Went there a couple of times, been locked down now and secured. So I've got some footage, I've got some photographs, I've got a story to tell on that, but I'll probably sit on that for a while like I do with most other things, because it is supposed to be getting renovated. No sign of it yet though. So yeah, that's what's been happening lately. Anyway, on to the video. Newsham Park Hospital. This place terrified me. Now, I say this quite a lot, like these places are creepy, things like that. Often when I go on my own, they are creepy. I went with a couple of other lads on this one, and to be honest with you, I wouldn't go back. Well, I would, but I wouldn't go back on my own. That is one place I definitely would not visit on my own. There's a very, very creepy, dark aura to the place. And if you read the stories about it, it is fast becoming talked about as one of the most haunted places in the UK. Now, again, to say that I believe or don't believe in these things is irrelevant, really. The place is horrifying. There's something very dark about that place, and like I say, I would not walk them corridors on my own at all, not for anything. So yeah, this place was set up as an institution for the orphans of British seamen, and the first move to establish such an institution was set up in 1868. So with the help of, I believe, 10 merchants and seamen, they all contributed £500 each to the to establish this institution for orphans of British seamen. So there must have been a lot of orphans at the time. I know Liverpool has a port, so I imagine that's the reason why there were so many seamen at the time. By 1869, they'd opened a temporary residence in Duke Street in Liverpool, and they welcomed 46 boys and 14 girls. By the early 1870s, there were 200 to 400 children, and it was obviously noted that they needed a bigger building, so the building at Newsham Park was built in the early 1870s. A huge Grade 2 listed building this place is, and by 1874 it had over 800 children there. The stories are there were surviving children that went on to tell their stories of this place, saying how strict it was. Very strict matrons there. There were questionable techniques in bringing the children to order, including a naughty boys passage, which is one of the scariest places in there, which is in the attic. There's plenty of cupboards up there, and any naughty boys were locked in this corridor with these cupboards, and or locked in these cupboards, where it was believed that one of them died and his spirit still walks up and down that attic corridor, opening and closing cupboard doors. Terrifying stuff. So like I say, I wouldn't want to be in there on my own on a night. Eventually, with the different laws governing the care of orphans, they couldn't take in the amount of orphans that needed to go into care. So eventually closed as an orphanage, and I believe that was 1940s, and in the 1950s it was taken over and opened as a hospital with quite a large psychiatric ward. So it's already had a dark past as an orphanage, and now it has another dark past as a psychiatric ward. This place received an influx of patients right up until it closed in 1992, and there's still a lot of features in there that you can see, like the suicide fencing on the stairs. There's various trolleys, there's a mortuary. These trolleys are like death trolleys that just wheel dead bodies around in, and they're just like laying in the corridors and stuff. Honestly, the place is haunting enough without knowing about the past of the place. So we went early one morning, about 5 o'clock in the morning, and yeah, I didn't know much about the place. I'd seen some pictures online that do like ghost tours and stuff there, because the company that does the ghost tours have been looking for years for a suitable location for ghost tours, and this place kept cropping up again and again and again, just for the stories that had been told. The nurses that used to work there used to say they saw apparitions. The psychiatric patients used to say that they were talking to children all the time. Now, whether that's just a side effect of their illness or not, these stories have gathered enough interest, and people who've been there as well have also witnessed quite a lot of dark things going on. I've got a medium on my Facebook group, and she's been in touch with me a couple of times saying that she went and a dark force walked through her, and she said she would rather never go back there again. Now, my visit to the place, beautiful to photograph, but I'm glad I had people around me. Would not want to be stood there on my own in these corridors. You can tell something bad's happened in there, and it's just got a very oppressive, dark undertone to the place. In fact, I did wander off at one point and found myself in an old hospital ward on my own. Absolutely freaked me out, and for some reason, no rhyme or reason, just wanted out of there and just legged it back, trying to find somebody so that I could bunk on my own in there. but beautiful place to photograph. I mean, these winding spiral staircases, this mesh that they'd put up, and the mortuary where I believe thousands of orphans were cremated in this place, and the ashes apparently were poured into a pit. So if there is any dark energy hanging around the building, I'm really not surprised. The first place we did visit was, we went right to the top like we usually do in a building, get to the top, get to see if there's any obstacles or anything like that, get to the top and then work your way down. You've already had a good look at a few things on your way up, get to the top, photograph all the way down to the bottom. So we did the Naughty Boys corridor. Quite intimidating really, as you'll see by the pictures, and it's a good mixture of an old orphanage and a psychiatric hospital, so you can just walk out of one building down the corridor and into like a hospital, so it's almost two places in one. And the wards were creepy enough as they were. I found them very intimidating and quite dark, and a lot of the pictures I took remind me again of the liminal spaces. It's quite a phenomena on the internet, liminal spaces, and these pictures just reminded me of this internet thing at the moment around liminal spaces and how creepy they can be. So very everyday, ordinary pictures, but the absence of humans or absence of something, there's almost something that you can't see in the pictures. There's a large Victorian hall as well in there. It's very, very vast for these places, for this to still be standing and to still be able to witness places like this, just absolutely fascinating. There's still equipment in there as well. I don't think I got to see all of that building. I think there's still more to see there, but there's still equipment. There's electric shock equipment in there. Taking a photograph of it, which I believe is part of the electric shock therapy that they used on the psychiatric patients. There's long corridors, which just in themselves at that time of morning are haunting enough. And then to top it off, there's a basement, which I don't normally do basements. Do not put me anywhere near the basement. I'm not going in the basement, especially if I'm on my own. Not a chance. Go anywhere else in the building, not a basement. But this basement, there were a few of us, and it was quite vast, and it used to be a sewing room, but some really old equipment in there as well, and some nice pictures to be had with my little portable lights. Just light a doorway up, put a strategically placed light in a doorway, and you get some fantastic shots. So for me, I wanted to see this building because I knew it would bring the best out in the photography. As you can see here, you better see it in the pictures as well, at much better light. The light shining up from what they call the suicide stairs, because it had all these mesh around it, but the light shining up from it, and you just get different contrasts with the photography. One of my favourite places I've visited in terms of taking photographs and producing some art out of it, but one of the most terrifying places I've ever been as well. And like I say, if you asked me to go there on my own, I really wouldn't do it. Not that I think there's anything in there, but there's definitely something unseen in there, and I think that plays with you quite a lot. So yeah, let me know what you think. And I've moved away from Yorkshire this week because I've got so many locations to tick off, and I can't do them all. Yorkshire, for so many outside of Yorkshire, so many rest of UK, so many from Europe, France and Belgium. So I'm going to start ticking them off a little bit at a time as well. So this is one of my favourite places, Liverpool, Newsham Park Hospital. Thanks again for joining me for a Stories Behind the Shots, and hope you join me next week. where hopefully it'll be something Yorkshire. Cheers, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.